Good morning and happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, what we typically do is go over crypto news or news in general in the space. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's here in the house. Mr. Chris Hanley. We got Black Hat Team. Good to see you, man. Dom G. All set. Backwards Miner. Vinny. Good morning, sir. I need my BTC. Good to see you, man. Me too. We have, let's see, Kyle Rosa. T-Gig, what's up, man? Crypto Frank, my man. Good to see you. Even though whiskey tastes like feet, just saying. I'm sure it was good stuff you were drinking last night, but it was good to see you on stream with the boys over at I think it was on the Veteran Miners channel last night. Typically the Veteran Miner and GPU Risers actually have their own little podcast on Wednesday, and it's pretty nice. They had Crypto Frank on last night, so it was nice to see him. Let's see who else is here in the house before we get into this. Mr. Will Wyman, what's up, dude? I haven't seen you in a minute, I feel like. Lawnmower Man, Claude, good to see you. All right, Mike the Miner, Offshore Miner, everybody else I may have missed, I apologize. But let's get into this. Bitcoin being choppy AF lately. We have $60,400 even. Ethereum at 25.72. We got Solana, 146 bucks. ADA over here at 36 cents. We got LTC at 62.62. Looks like ETC's at 18.89, almost 19 bucks. We got Caspa at 16.5 cents, not too bad. XRP at 57 cents. Near Protocol is at $4.46. Dogecoin 10 cents, 10.1 to be exact. Let's see, BNB is at 544 bucks. Got Toncoin at $5.59. Not too bad. Shiba and Pepe are up a little bit today. Pepe's like 0.48% and Shiba's up 2.28. Nothing too crazy. ICP's at $8 if anybody cares. Is anybody into ICP actually? I'm not into it, to be honest, but if you are, please let me know in the chat. And Crypto Frank, I was just giving you shit about the whiskey thing. I just can't do it. It's not for me, man. All right, let's see. We got Crypto Bubbles over here. Looks like this dog coin. Man, I have seen so much shit on YouTube about this dog's coin, or whatever this is, this meme. I think it's a meme. I'm not even sure. I think it's Telegram's meme, if I'm not mistaken, on the Ton network. It's ranked 85th now, $738 million market cap, which is, it's crazy for a meme coin, but it's down 9.2% today, and it's kind of expected, but bruh, I don't know why people throw their money like that into it. It's crazy. Celestia looks like it's down 4.6% today. The only one that's really jumping out at me is HNT right here, 7.4% on the day, $7.55. I say ooh because Helium burnt us, but it looks like it's the only earner right now that's doing pretty well. It's kind of crazy. Render's down 6%, unfortunately, $5.75. I really do think Render's going to do well. Hopefully. I should put some more money into it today, actually. You know what? I might do that. I might buy some Renders today. Teo over here. Bit Tensor. I almost said Bitensor again. I almost said it, but then I just said it. 303 bucks. Is anybody into this one? Let me know in the chat, please. Let me know if you guys are purchasing this one. I want to know where you're buying it because I don't know where you can buy it, to be honest. $20 a day into Render. Dude, Crypto Frank, you know what? That's a good strategy, because Render I really do think is going to do well. We have Shiba again up 2% today. Litecoin up 0.9. Nothing crazy. Yeah, that's really it, guys. Nothing jumping out at me. Let's jump over to Fear and Greed Index. Flashbang. We got 29 on the Fear and Greed Index. We're in fear as of right now. Yesterday we were at 30. So again, Bitcoin being super choppy, the whole like market in general being super choppy. What do you expect, right? It's good though. We need this. This is how you get a good reset. Nice clean before the run. That's what we need. So hopefully the run comes, because we've been saying this for a while now. Oh, look at this. Xanos in the top trending coins. Look at that. Weird, but it's down 7.9%. I just never seen it up here. That's kind of neat because that's a mineable coin. Apes over here on the trending coin, 78.3% up today. Damn. And then Simon's Cat, 5% down, if anybody cares. All right, top 10 coins by coin market cap over here on CoinGecko. We got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, USDC, XRP, Lido Staked Ether, Dogecoin, and Toncoin still in 10th place at a $14.1 billion market cap. Tron Coins in 11th place, and we have Cardano in 12th place, actually, at a $12.9 billion market cap. Crazy. I really do think Cardano still deserves 10th place, but man, Toncoin came out of nowhere, changing their logo. Guy gets arrested and everybody fights for him. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's like, it almost reminds me of the Trump stuff. Every time like something bad happens, like all the coins pump just because like F everybody going against them, right? It's kind of like what's happening here. The Toncoin thing. That's my opinion. I don't know anything about the guy, but it is what it is. What's up? The one who was. What's going on, bro? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Douglas, good to see you as well. And Nvidia announced $50 billion stock buyback. Oh, nice. Look at that. We're going to get into the Nvidia earnings in just a few minutes, actually, because they were released yesterday. So we'll play a clip from yesterday and then from again this morning. Again, Near Protocol over here. This is one of those coins that I'm investing into a little bit. It's about about 80% down, roughly 78.2 to be exact. It got to a $20 high, so I'm thinking it's a good buy. That's what I'm planning on anyways. I don't know what you guys are doing, if you guys are investing into this or not, but I guess we're gonna have to see what happens with Near Protocol. All right, let's see. I think that's really it. That's all I want to talk about today. Mr. Crypto KJ, dude, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Daily S19K profits, beef ramen for the kiddies. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Maybe we'll spring for shrimp today. Thank you. Appreciate it. Actually, that's gross. I don't think I've ever done that. Never had shrimp ramen, but I've seen it. I know. I gotta stop shilling, man. People are giving me shit on Twitter. Oh, is it just me, or does anybody else feel like Twitter's just a cesspool of dummies? I can't do it. It cracks me up. But like, oh my god, it's funny because like the people that say shit about you on Twitter are people that clearly don't watch you, because, or maybe they watched me like years ago when I was like super excited to get free machines. But I don't know. Anyways, who cares? Guy's a boob. Over here, ASIC miner value. Let's get into the mining segment of things. We got the AL1 Pro 16.6 terahashes over here, making 265 bucks a day. Kind of interesting. So over here, sorry, flashbang, on the mining pool stats, you can see Ant Pool has picked itself back up to 1.55 petahashes. I think it dropped down yesterday during our stream. Yeah, it was just under a petahash. And this was over 3 at 1.3.5. All right, so they obviously turned on the units, tested the units. There's my man DJ. I think it's so delayed, it's crazy. They obviously turned the units on, did the burn test, made sure their stuff was good, and put their wallet addresses in there, of course, to get some free crypto from you guys. Just plug shit in and don't mess with it. But they had to do all that, then they shut them all down. I'm assuming they're shipping out these big units, and now they're probably going to start testing batch 2, if I had to guess. Might not be anytime soon, like right away. It might gradually go up instead of them doing it all at once like that. But I think they might leave it low until people start getting their units. That way people aren't like super bitchy. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah, they're definitely shipping. Definitely. The AO1 15.6 terahash unit over here, 249 bucks a day. They honestly still look good, but I am going to be shocked if it's over $200 or over $150 real soon. That's just my opinion. We got the KS5 Pro 21 terahash unit over here, making 25.41 a day. KS5 20 terahash unit, again mining Caspa, 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Just double checking that was at 10 cents. Making, where was that? KS5 20 terahash, 24.20. We got the L9 16 gigahash unit, $17.21. I wonder if ASIC miner value is going to throw that Bells coin on here and show triple mining, because I guess the Bells coin actually adds a little bit to this, which is kind of interesting. I don't know much about it, but I guess we'll have to see. The ICER KS5M 15 terahash unit, making $15.39 a day. We get the AL Box 2 Plus. This is a 1 terahash unit, making $15.38 a day, but the prices are too high, in my opinion. Let's see. AL Box 2, 720 gigahashes, 360 watts. You guys know I got this thing in my solar trailer. Shout out to Gold Shell, $11 a day. But again, these units, they just, the price point is too high. It's too high to get your money back. That's just basically what it comes down to. I wouldn't risk it right now. The KS5L over here, 12 terahash unit, making $10.68 a day. Let's see, scrolling down just a little bit, I want to see the AL0, 400 gigahashes at 100 watts, making $6.37 a day. Man, this thing is dropping fast though. It's dropping fast. It was like $9 a day the other day. I think it was like $5 yesterday when we looked, but whatever. What do you expect? The L7 9050, you guys know I got this thing down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them if you guys are interested in hosting. Links in the description. This is the only feasible manner for me to have these big machines. To be honest, I have to get them hosted. I pay 30 cents per kilowatt hour. They charge 10. It's like it's a no-brainer. My $3,200 electric bill was the thing that got me to actually send my stuff to a hosting facility. So 9050 for gigahashes. This thing mines, again, Litecoin and Doge, you know, merge mines, $6.07 a day. It's not too bad. I mean, it could be worse. This thing's a 3-year-old machine, right? But it's still profitable. And also shout out to Musk Miners, because Musk Miners are actually the guys that sent me over this machine way back 2 Christmases ago. So like a year and a half ago or so, a little more than a year and a half ago. We got the Gold Shell AL box, the original 360 gigahashes, 180 watts, $5.52 a day. Actually, just talking about the AL boxes, I got to get the hash rate going for you guys again in my VIP chat. So Mr. Leo Lustig, if you're here, you're up first. You're up first in that in the hash rate giveaway. So I'm going to do that, and then I got to get the AL0 situated as well. You guys remind me if I forget today in the VIP chat, please. All right, let's see. Gold Shell EKA1M. This is their new Echo hash miner or whatever it's called. 5.5 terahash unit, 1800 watts. This thing's making $4.31 a day. I think the price came out a little over $2,000. I think it was a little over $2,000, if I'm not mistaken. It was 2,700. I feel like it was around there. You guys let me know what the price was again. But I think it's too expensive. It's too expensive. There's no way around it. I don't see you getting your money back on that one, unfortunately. I swear though, I thought they were gonna post it like $6,000 because Gold Shell's usually pretty bad with prices. That's just my I guess the way I see it over there. Let's see, the Gold Shell KA box Pro. I don't know how much this one's going for anymore, but man, it's only $1.07 a day, 1.6 terahashes. Bruh. That's terrible. That's pretty terrible. KS3M 6 terahash units, only making $1.26 because the electric's so high. That's freaking crazy too. Damn. All right, let's see. Where's the Ultra? Where is the Ultra? KS0 Ultra 400 gigahash is only making 39 cents a day. Bruh. Come on. Come on. Casper needs to move, man. We need it to jump. We need a run up, please. Somebody. KS0 Pro 200 gigahashes at 7 cents a day. All right, guys, listen. Don't buy Casper miners. I'm saying it. I'm saying it here. Do not buy Casper miners right now. Wait until the new shit comes out if you really want to jump on one. Okay. It's too, right now it's so risky. I would rather you just buy the coin if you believe in it. Just buy the coin, please. It's I DCA into Casper every single week. All right. Just do that. Just do that. I like having the miners because I have solar stuff and I can make content. It's totally different. I don't expect you guys to go out, or I would never tell you guys to go out and buy these machines, especially when they only make a little bit per day. I mean, if you could spend 100 or something bucks, like what is it, like 150 bucks, 200 bucks maybe for the Ultra now? Honestly, that's pretty cheap if you want to get into it and just tinker with something cool, but like don't expect to get your money back on them unless you're like solo mining and you actually hit a block. All right, let me just search my S19K because I know it's really bad. S19K, and this is what Mr. Crypto KJ covered this morning. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Perfect. $1.19 negative a day on this 120 terahash unit. I actually have this thing solo mining BCH right now, trying to hit a block. I put it on there last, I think it was Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, so it's been about a week. You know, it was either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I can't remember now. I honestly can't remember. It's been about a week though at this point mining BCH. I have not hit a block, so we're gonna see what happens. You have a better chance. I think I'm 1 out of 7 to hit a block in a week, or maybe it was a month. I forget. There's a whole calculator though. Way better odds on BCH versus Bitcoin solo mining. So I wanted to try solo mining, give the gamble a shot. You know, scratch that itch, if you will. All right, over here, GPUs. Let's see what we got. Zealous, top of the charts. How's Zealous looking? Let's see. Let's see. Zealous 12.37% up. It's at $11.04. Look at that. Look at that. Nice little climb. 24 hours. Let's go to the month. Oh wow, it was down to $5. Oh shit. All right. All right. So yeah, it was up around $24 in June. It came out, right? No, I lied. May it came out. It was doing pretty good, right? Oh god, it went up to 33 bucks. Holy shit. What's the all-time high? $37, 70% down. Damn, that's crazy. That is crazy. But it's been having a little bit of a couple jumps. I wonder if people just got off mining it. I wonder if that's why the profits are good. Interesting. Xano again on the top of the charts here. We got Ravencoin, Bitcoin Gold, Nexa. How's Nexa doing? Actually, haven't looked at Nexa in a minute. Nexa 1.4% down, 0.5 of a penny. Next is one of those that I just lost I lost $1 million in a wallet somewhere and I don't know where it is. So yeah, that's that. It's not one of those coins that I care about, to be honest, but I heard they were gonna be making ASICs and I've never heard anything else since then. Let's see. Nerd Things and More. What's up, dude? Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Actually, I was watching one of your videos yesterday. Actually, you know what? I popped into your live stream. I just kind of lurked. I didn't say anything, but I saw you live last night. The solar overnight is the killer. Can't get enough batteries, dude. Solar overnight is so hard. And you know what? It's actually, I brought it up in my last video. Somebody in one of my comments said that what they do during the day is they take all their batteries and their unit and they turn on everything they can during the day. So like say you're only getting 3,000 watts from the sun, they are pulling say 5,000 watts on their whole unit, so the battery's making up the other 2,000 during the day, and then they mine as much as they can during the day and then just shut it all off a couple hours before sun goes down, let it charge up a little bit more, and it's just supplemental power to allow the miners to actually just run during the day, which is kind of a better idea. Actually, you probably get more yield that way than trying to fight like 2 miners overnight, you know what I mean? Good morning, Royce's Adventure, Backatran and Nismo. What's up, guys? Good to see you. So it looks to be Zealous and Xano really next to Raven a little bit. That seems to be the consensus all the way across the board here on GPUs. Again, Aletheium's hash rate is jumping up to 1.2 petahashes, so they're obviously still doing some testing here. Oh, that's F2 pool. Wow, never mind, I lied. Ant pool, they moved. Ant pool's down again, 856. You know what, I wonder if somebody got one of their units, or some people are getting their units. Interesting. F2 pool is starting to pick up. Crazy. All right, let's move on to the news segment of things. Nvidia's earnings were released yesterday. Let's hear what they got to say and what actually happened with it. This was about 15 hours ago, and then we'll get into this morning stuff.
What does it look like?
John, second quarter earnings are in for Nvidia, 68 cents adjusted versus the estimate of 64 cents. So a beat on its bottom line. Revenue at $30.04 billion, also higher than Wall Street consensus of $28.7 billion. We have comments here from CEO Jensen Huang in the press release. Hopper demand remains strong and the anticipation for Blackwell is incredible. He says,
amazing. Again, thank you very much, Nerd Things and More. You didn't have to do that. You're awesome. I appreciate the $10 super chat.
Nvidia achieved record revenues as global data centers are in full throttle to modernize the entire computing stack. He goes on to say that Blackwell samples are shipping to our partners and customers. Spectrum X, Ethernet for AI, and NVIDIA AI Enterprise Software are 2 new product categories achieving significant scale. Another data point here, NVIDIA announcing a $50 billion repurchase of shares. We are watching the stock here move fractionally higher in overtime. John, we'll get you the guidance in just a second.
All right, we'll await that guide. Looks like it's a little bit above expectations. Nicole, what do you do with it here if you feel like you missed the big move?
The earnings beats are narrowing. I think that's exactly what I was watching over your shoulder as the market was trying to digest in the moment. When the earnings beats are narrowing, the street is less impressed on where we're headed next. And so I think until there's more clarity around movement outside of the hyperscalers, obviously adoption from finance, from healthcare, from the consumers, like we started to hear from Walmart. That's the next leg. And so I think the more we learn about Blackwell, what the stack's going to do, the demand for the stack, and these even higher margin products, right, this next gen, next wave, that's what moves us higher. And so I wouldn't say this isn't an entry point because we believe that we are long NVIDIA for 18 plus months here.
Along those lines, Paul, the fact that you had revenue up 152% year over year, but perhaps more significantly, revenue up 122% year over year, which represents another quarter of more than doubling. I mean, it tripled in the last quarter. So it does represent a deceleration in that rate of growth. And I wonder how much that is factoring into the stock as you see these rapid moves on your screen right now, but we're currently down 4%.
Yeah, so I mean, I think, we talked about, earlier before it released, they were going to have to exceed 30 billion just to, keep the market somewhat level here. But
Dude, this guy has Tim Draper's eyebrows for sure. If he just lets them grow out and get a little squirrely, 100% looks like him.
to your point, they've been increasing revenues so high. Revenues have more than quadrupled over the last 3 years. That's not going to happen again over the next 3 years. Just you'd have to have revenues of over 500 billion a year in order to keep that pace going. So the pace is going to slow. And so we always hear about, oh, it's trading at a cheaper valuation now than it was a year ago. But the growth was so much stronger over the last year. That pace of growth is going to slow. I'm not saying that NVIDIA is a stock that you don't want to own, but you have to reset your expectations here. What we've seen in the growth is going to slow down going forward. And, I think there's other places where investors can look in the market outside of just these Mag 7 type stocks. And you want to look for a broadening of the rally to areas that, we're not talking about every day, that 75 analysts aren't covering, and that the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg and CNBC aren't reporting stories about newly minted millionaires because of NVIDIA stock. There's going to be a new crop of stocks going forward, and that's where you want to look at as an investor.
Interesting. All right, moving on. Let's see. The fundamental story on NVIDIA remains very strong. This is about an hour ago. Let's do it.
So now that NVIDIA has reported those results, let's talk a little bit about the possible impact on the markets today. Joining us for that is Hank Smith. He is the head of investment strategy at Haverford Trust. Perfect. And Hank, were you at the watch party?
No, but it's interesting. I believe the Wall Street Journal commented this morning that because there were no major sporting events going on, particularly NFL football, this was the best event in town.
So
Dude, great good mining. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Congrats on 100K subs, dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. DJ will be screaming briefly in a moment.
We're listening closely. What did you take away? Obviously strong numbers across the board, but maybe expectations that were impossibly high if you look across the street.
Yeah, but they exceeded expectations both on the top line and the bottom line. And look,
hold on, we can comment on super chats now. That's crazy. That's a new feature. I never seen that. That's cool. And there's DJ. Perfect. There he is. Perfect. My man. He was actually streaming yesterday. If you guys haven't seen DJ's stream, go check him out. He actually is doing it remotely. His internet's kind of ass, but it was a good stream. It's good to see him.
When you're growing as fast as they are, you can always nitpick at something. But overall, very, very strong earnings report. And I think really key to this is their current chip, Hopper, is still seeing very strong demand, even though you're only, a quarter or two away from the next generation Blackwell coming. So that's just a sign of just how important this company is to the build out of AI across the entire tech industry.
Why do you think the stock's off? It's not off by a lot, but let's say 2.6%.
Well, look, I think you have to take into account where it's come from. I think year to date, it's up over 150% or somewhere in that neighborhood. Don't forget, earlier this month, it had a 25% drawdown from a high in June of 140. It got down to around 100, 101. It's since recovered a little bit. You're going to expect volatility in a name like this, and actually a downdraft. We look at that pretty positively because we'll add to the stock with downdrafts.
Downdrafts of even 2.5%. I mean, I think that's the question for investors who already own this stock. What would you tell them to do for investors who don't own this stock and are thinking about jumping in?
Yeah, that's a huge challenge. If you don't own the stock, do you have the patience for that kind of drawdown? And you're right, 2.5% isn't that much. That's just noise. But again, earlier this month you had a 25% drawdown, and you just have to have discipline to wait, be patient, take advantage of that, knowing that the fundamental story remains very, very strong. Sure, there'll be some deacceleration in growth over the next several years. There have to be when you're that large of a company. But the story is intact. And as Mark Benioff said, we're in the very early stages of this AI boom.
Jensen Huang,
when he said take advantage of that, he means buy the dips. Exactly. Black Hat team. Correct.
speaking yesterday, it looked like he was really trying to point to the idea that data centers their data center business has more diverse customers than people think. People look at it and think it's just the hyperscalers. He said they're only 35% of their business, I think. But then he went on to say in an interview I was listening to that, that's 55% of customers that aren't hyperscalers. So I don't know where that gets you, 35%, 45%. But his point is that it's not just the hyperscalers. How important is that point to investors?
Well, I think it's a very important point. And look, I'm not sure there's an industry, a sector out there that ultimately won't benefit from AI, including our sector, the money management business. And so, look, we're at the beginning, the infancy. We're not in the 8th or 9th inning. We're in the 2nd or 3rd inning of the secular trend.
I think that's probably true, but there aren't a lot of companies that have the deep pockets that can afford to pay these sort of premiums. So I think the question becomes, while AI might benefit everyone, and you can think of places like hospitals and drug companies and all kinds of places that would benefit from this, which of them are going to be able to pay that sort of premium, and how far do prices have to come down to get it to the rest of them? I think of hospitals being a great place, but hospitals, some of them are operating on 1% margins.
Well, that's true, but there are, a lot of businesses that, in the financial sector, you look at the, top 10, top 20 companies. They look at what J.P. Morgan is spending on technology over the past several years. It's just massive, and the number of employees they have that are engineers and technologists, it is massive. So. Your point with some of the lower margin businesses is a good point, but I still believe they'll find the money to invest in AI.
Hank, when you're looking at the ranges, what would be a price you'd buy in at, a price that would make you think, okay, this is getting a little rich? Because we do see that big trading range.
Yeah. Look, I think if you got down into the low 100s in that area, I think that'd be an excellent buying opportunity. And, you mentioned volatility earlier. It wasn't too long ago, in the first 9 months of 2022, that this stock sold off over 70%. Now, I'm not suggesting you're going to have that kind of downdraft anytime in the near future. All I'm saying is you can have volatility in companies that have great growth paths in terms of earnings and revenue. We saw that back in the 1990s during that decade with Cisco Systems, which had annual downdrafts of between 20 and 40%, and yet the company performed extremely well on a fundamental basis.
Interesting. You heard him here. $100 buy in. Time to buy. All right. This was yesterday after we streamed, actually. Bitcoin's volatility is part of what draws investors, says Anthony Pompliano over here on CNBC television. Let's do it.
Check out Bitcoin prices this morning. They're falling sharply, dipping below the 59,000 level in overnight trading. The sell-off was said to be sparked by a wave of leverage-driven liquidation after a drop.
We went down to like 57 or something yesterday.
Up in Ethereum. Joining us now to discuss the crypto market is Anthony Pompliano, founder and CEO of Professional Capital Management. And we could probably go back in time with almost identical price movements to identical levels, and we've had you on in the last 3 months talking about.
Does anybody see anything different about this table? Anybody? Bueller? You notice that Andrew got kicked off? Every time they bring on a guest, there is no more Andrew and Joe. It's only Joe and the guest with this lady. With Becky, I think her name is.
We've seen a break under 59 a couple of times, only to go back above 64, 65. What do we make of it?
Well, I think it's just sideways summer, right? People kind of saw this huge run up after the Bitcoin ETF got approved earlier this year. A lot of capital flew into that, both retail and some institutional.
Snake said why? It's just because they argue all the time. Because like Joe can't control himself when Andrew tries to he's that guy that tries to butter things up and make everybody happy. We all know people like that. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those guys. And Joe's like, nah, F that, dude. You're totally wrong. You have no idea what you're talking about.
When the summer hit, people, I think, kind of just went away. And so as we've traded sideways, there has been volatility. But I do think that if you look at the historical kind of bull run cycles, kind of end of Q3 into Q4 is when things start to pick up. And you'll start to see, kind of the asset price rise from there.
I mean, because some people, no matter what, hold Bitcoin, does it not take a lot of selling to have pretty big moves in the price? Is it like on thin volume, would you say?
You definitely have an illiquid asset, right?
Is it?
A lot of times, depending on which metric you look at, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, it could be 60 or 70% of the assets being held by people who are long-term oriented.
That's what I mean.
And so it's very different than many other financial assets, but also leverage has definitely increased in the use in the market. And so whenever you see kind of an illiquid asset, you get a good amount of leverage in there. It can move in both directions with more volatility. And if you compare Bitcoin to maybe something like gold, they're both sound money principles, but Bitcoin's 1 year volatility is 0.35, gold's is 0.09. And so that volatility is part of what draws people, that they want the upside of something like Bitcoin, but they still want the sound money principle.
So they still want to trade it.
Yeah, they want the quick money. I mean, it makes sense. I get it.
What will Bitcoin's reaction be if the economy gets hit hard, as Barry Knapp was just saying he thinks will happen? What will Bitcoin's reaction be if there's a soft landing?
Yeah, so I think that the more people talk about a potential recession, the less likely that it is that we're going to have a recession, right? People are kind of eyes wide open. They're paying attention to that. And the other thing is, a lot of us criticize the Fed, and rightfully so for many things. But one thing that they did get right is they've kind of reloaded their ammunition. And so now we've got rates over 5%. They've sold off $2 trillion or so off their balance sheet. If we get to some sort of market slowdown or downturn, the Fed seems to be more trigger happy. They're a little bit more sensitive. You saw this with the 2 emergency rate cuts in 2020. And I do think that they have that ammunition now to fight that market downturn.
But what's it mean for Bitcoin? Because I still can't figure out what the correlations are necessarily. It doesn't always do what I expect it to do.
Yeah, I think that if cheap capital floods into the market, people will go and they will push out on the risk curve. The nice thing about Wall Street is that Bitcoin is still considered one of the riskier assets in their portfolio. And so I think assets will flow there. But also, I think that if you look at the crypto industry, they look at this as an asset that they buy and they hold. They do not sell this asset. And so it'll remain illiquid. You'll have Wall Street kind of allocating to it. And as we've seen, when interest rates have gone down or cheap capital has flooded into the market in the past, Bitcoin has done very, very well.
What happened with Ethereum?
I think that with Ethereum, people are still trying to figure out what is it and should I have it in my portfolio or not, right? If you look at the ETF launch, kind of had a big first week or so, but you don't hear it talked about nearly as much as you hear people talking about Bitcoin. And so some people think it's a world computer. Some people think of it as ultrasound money. Some people think of it as, name your other narrative. But I think that the lack of a clean story means that interest is waning to some degree. And if you go back and you look at its financial performance, it's been at $2,400, give or take, for quite a while now. And so while Bitcoin, Solana, others are up considerably during that time frame, Ethereum is essentially flat, which I think, again, kind of pulls away from capital flowing into the asset.
What's going on with the Solana ETF? Has anybody heard any news on that? Didn't some companies retract their involvement in it, or no? Am I wrong? I feel like I heard that, though. Kaiser, congrats on 100K subs. I remember not long ago pushing 30K. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, the solar content has been doing insane.
When the NASDAQ sold off and the VIX went up, so you see people sell things that they have to pay margin calls, and Bitcoin got hit very hard. Now the NASDAQ hasn't sold off, and it's getting hit again. So whenever someone needs liquidity for whatever reason, they're going to go to the store or to the bank of Bitcoin that they have. It doesn't seem to be correlated to anything. It's correlated to risk, and it goes down when there's a de-risking. And then it might go down I guess it could go down if gold went down, or if it looks like, for example, if the Fed isn't going to cut, it seems to go down. Then when it is going to cut, I don't know, it can go down for any reason. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it at this point. They're small moves, though.
Yeah, I think for years, the promise of Bitcoin has been that it is a non-correlated asymmetric asset, and that's been very attractive to people.
Is that true?
Well, it's definitely less correlated than, say, stocks or other types of assets. Now, one of the things that has confused people is during moments of crisis, whether it's COVID or other moments, correlations spike towards one. And so you see these kind of sell-offs, and people say, oh, maybe the non-correlation days are over. But I do think that part of, why we're sitting here talking about, hey, why is it doing what it's doing? That is part of that non-correlation. And so, yes, Bitcoin will benefit from cheap capital. It will benefit from interest rate cuts. But also, there are reasons that people are buying it that they may not buy other assets. This has been true of sound money principles for a long time. Gold has been a lower correlation than other assets. I think Bitcoin now is doing that as well. The difference is that, Bitcoin is kind of gold with wings. And so it will go up a lot more than gold when they both move forward. And it will go down a lot more when they drop in price as well.
Crazy. I know you guys don't like Ethereum, or some of you guys don't, but at the end of the day, it says, I just Googled it. It says, as of August 27th, 2024, Ethereum has a supply of 120 million tokens. That's more than 10 times the amount of Bitcoin, which has a limited supply of 21 million, as you guys know. I'm trying to figure out how many coins are on their platform, because if you guys don't know, Ethereum is like a ecosystem. The way I explain it kind of is like, if you think of Bitcoin as like the internet, you think of Ethereum as like a Google, right? It has just like all the information, but like there's a whole bunch of different coins built on Ethereum where it has a use case. So I don't think Ethereum's going to go anywhere, to be honest. All right, let's see what we're going to see over here on CNBC television. NFT marketplace OpenSea says it received a Wells notice from the SEC, which means NFTs are now securities. Let's see what happens here.
Today, Bitcoin falls as low as the $57,000 level. NFT marketplace OpenSea says it received a Wells notice from the SEC. And Bitfarms CEO Ben Gagnon explains what prompted the Bitcoin miner to acquire competitor Stronghold Digital Mining.
All right, so ETH has nothing but gas fees. But listen, gas fee, like fees are good for miners, right? I know we can't mine Ethereum anymore, but just in general, like that's what made us money, man. That's what made us money as a miner. It's true. I know you don't like it, but it's true.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Cryptocurrency is sliding for a fourth consecutive day today as investors brace for NVIDIA earnings.
This is yesterday
Bitcoin
afternoon.
dropped 4.3% to just above $59,000 by noon Eastern. At one point, it fell as low as about $57,000. Ether fell more than 3% to $24.96, and Cardano lost 3% as the blockchain prepares for its biggest upgrade in 2 years. The Chang
Crypto Mikkel, my man, says gas is like 1 gwei right now. He said, sorry, 5 as of now. Yeah, no, that's, dude, I remember when it was like 100 and something. It was crazy. They were insane.
Hard fork upgrade was initially supposed to take place this week, but has been pushed back to September 1st so that some exchanges, including Binance, could prepare. That's according to a post on X from Cardano co-founder Charles Hoskinson. Now, at one point yesterday evening... That's
cool. At least, see, Cardano is doing a bunch of shit in the background that is never like in the mainstream media, which is a reason why I think it's an easy 6X.
Bitcoin lost 6%.
Chilling Cardano today. For everybody on Twitter.
In the span of an hour. The cause of the sudden drop wasn't immediately clear, but investors pointed to liquidations in the futures market, skittishness around NVIDIA's upcoming earnings report after the bell today, and ongoing sell pressure from the Mt. Gox distributions and U.S. government holdings. Speaking on CNBC's Squawk Box this morning, Anthony Pompliano, founder and CEO of Professional Capital Management, weighed in on Bitcoin's dip below $60,000.
Well, I think it's just sideways summer, right? People kind of saw this huge run up after the Bitcoin ETF got approved earlier this year. A lot of capital flew into that, both retail and some institutional. And when the summer hit, people, I think, kind of just went away. And so as we've traded sideways, there has been volatility. But I do think that if you look at the historical kind of bull run cycles, kind of end of Q3 into Q4 is when things start to pick up. And you'll start to see, kind of the asset price rise from there.
August is atypically quiet.
October's coming quick, boys and girls. It's can't wait.
Month for crypto and risk assets at large, but this August has been particularly volatile. Cryptocurrencies, however, are not strangers to big pullbacks in bull markets, and Bitcoin is still safely in the range it's been sitting in since April, between $55,000 and $70,000. Pompliano also argued this morning that Bitcoin's volatility is part of what draws investors.
If you compare, Bitcoin to maybe something like gold, they're both sound money principles, but Bitcoin's 1 year volatility is 0.35, gold's is 0.09. And so that volatility is part of what draws people, that they want the upside of something like Bitcoin, but they still want the sound money principle.
Okay, let's talk about the top stories. NFT marketplace OpenSea says it received a Wells notice from the SEC. The company's CEO, Devin Finzer, took to X, saying the agency is threatening to sue and claims that NFTs on OpenSea's platform are securities. A Wells notice is a warning from the SEC that often precedes a lawsuit. This follows a string of Wells notices received by Web3 companies this year, including Consensus and Uniswap in April and Robinhood Crypto in May. Consensus was then sued by the regulator in late June. Of course, unlike OpenSea, these aren't platforms that focus on NFTs, but the SEC has targeted specific projects in the past, including Mila Kunis-backed Stoner Cats. Finzer's post argues that NFTs are, quote, fundamentally creative goods, and compares them to art, video game items, and event tickets, and says they should not be regulated in the same way as collateralized debt obligations. He also announced that OpenSea is pledging $5 million toward legal fees to help NFT creators and devs that receive a Wells notice. We reached out to the SEC, and a spokesperson told us the agency does not comment on the existence or non-existence of a possible investigation. Next, a new report reveals that institutional investors continue to ramp up digital asset allocations. This report, supported by OKX Institutional, points to a 2023 survey which revealed that 69% of institutional investors anticipated increasing their allocations to digital assets in the next 2 to 3 years. They also expect crypto holdings to constitute more than 7% of their portfolios by 2027. The report notes that currently, on average, digital asset allocations in institutional portfolios ranges from 1% to 5%, depending on risk appetite. It also shows that the positioning of digital assets within institutional portfolios has been focused on trading cryptocurrencies, with Bitcoin and Ether representing the largest investment avenues. However, the report goes on to note that institutional investors are showing greater optimism around digital assets due to the expanding availability of a wider range of investment vehicles, including spot crypto ETFs, stablecoins, and crypto derivatives. The research also reveals that the projected value of tokenized assets is expected to surpass $10 trillion by the end of the decade.
Jesus.
Despite these findings, there are still challenges ahead, like the lack of regulatory clarity. The report notes that risk management is a crucial step for digital asset allocation to become entrenched in institutional portfolios.
Crazy. Do any of you guys still hold NFTs? Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you still hold them or if you guys have sold them.
All right, turning to Bitcoin mining for our main story. Global Bitcoin miner Bitfarms announced yesterday that it has assumed control of its first U.S. mega site, which marks a significant expansion in its power capacity and mining operations.
Oh, shit.
Bitfarms' newest data center is located in Sharon, Pennsylvania, and the site has access of up to 120 megawatts of power capacity.
Holy shit.
This development comes
120 megawatts is 120 million watts. That's insane.
1 week after Bitfarms announced it plans to acquire competitor Stronghold Digital Mining. CryptoWorld's Talia Kaplan spoke with Bitfarms' new CEO, Ben Gagnon, about the acquisition and his plans for the Bitcoin mining company now that he's leading the firm.
Last week, we learned that after 3 years of merger discussions, Bitfarms entered into an agreement to acquire competitor Stronghold Digital Mining. Bitfarms says the merger will cost around $125 million in stock and around another $50 million of debt. The deal is expected to close in Q1 of next year after approval from regulators. What was behind the decision to join forces with Stronghold Digital? I'm sure strengthening your U.S. footprint played into the move, but did the Bitcoin halving back in April have anything to do with it?
Yeah, so there was a lot of things that came into play here. Definitely strengthening our U.S. exposure is a big part. We're a very international Bitcoin miner. We've got over 12 sites in 4 different countries and 3 languages. But really, U.S. has been the smallest part of our portfolio. So with this one transaction, we're able to increase the size of our portfolio next year by almost 50%. We're able to rebalance our energy portfolio towards the United States. So next year, we're going to have about 65% in North America and almost half of that in the U.S. And we're able to get a huge growth pipeline, both in the short term as well as organic growth opportunities over the next couple of years to continue expanding in the United States. So, one transaction really ticked a lot of boxes and opportunities for us.
It sounds like it. And did the Bitcoin halving back in April play a role?
So this is something we've been working on for the last 3 years. The Bitcoin halving certainly has compressed margins for everyone, but for a company like Bitfarms, in order to be successful, we have to be thinking, so many years in advance. So the reality is that for this last halving, we were getting ready for it back in 2020. And if anything, this transaction is more geared around getting ready for the next halving in 2028, because that's how forward thinking you have to be in order to survive in this space.
Now, of course, this deal comes as M&A activity in the Bitcoin mining space remains red hot. There have been other deals recently, including between Core Scientific and AI infrastructure startup CoreWeave, as we've seen the growing trend of Bitcoin miners turning to artificial intelligence to diversify revenue streams, given it became a lot less profitable to mine Bitcoin post-halving. What do you think about this trend? I understand Bitfarms plans to move into the AI space as well. Was your acquisition of Stronghold pursued with the intent of integrating high-performance computing and AI?
Yes, so the high performance computing trend and the AI trend is a very powerful driver right now. What we're looking at is how do we increase the value of our energy portfolio and how do we maximize utility of all of our assets? And certainly we think HPC and AI is a great way for us to continue to expand our presence in the data center space and continue to get the best leverage out of everything that we have. So when we're looking at growth opportunities in the United States, we're looking at what are the opportunities that are not only good for Bitcoin mining, but are also good for HPC and AI. And with the Stronghold transaction, what we've unlocked is the potential for something really groundbreaking. The ability to create a merged HPC, AI, and Bitcoin mining data center, which will enable us to save a lot of money in terms of the CapEx build out for the HPC AI data center, and also drive a lot better economics at the site, and actually drive a more environmentally friendly HPC data center by removing the diesel generating components that usually are in an HPC data center for redundancy.
What other steps are you taking to maximize revenue and profit following the halving? What can people expect? Perhaps more acquisitions?
So we've been upgrading all of our miners this year. We announced a big transformative fleet upgrade at the end of last year. So we've ordered just shy of 88,000 miners that are going to be deployed this year. About half of those have already been deployed in existing facilities. The other half is being deployed, throughout the remainder of this year. As we look towards next year, what we're going to be doing is continuing to build on the success that we've had this year, securing more miners to fill out the build out at Stronghold, as well as our recent Sharon, Pennsylvania site, and trying to figure out how we incorporate HPC and AI into our portfolio of energy assets.
Is that what he said? 88,000 miners? Damn.
Assets for an end of 2025 or a beginning of 2026 timeline.
That's crazy.
We think that timeline really aligns well with what we anticipate to be the top of the Bitcoin bull market cycle. And that's the time when we want to have diversification into an alternative revenue stream like HPC and AI.
Now, of course, Bitfarms has been pushing back on attempts to make it the target of an acquisition as well, rejecting a $950 million takeover offer from Riot, which was unsolicited. As of 2 weeks ago, Riot claims to own a nearly 19% stake of Bitfarms. Where does everything stand with Riot right now? What's the latest there? And would you ever be open to a full takeover offer from the firm?
We as a company are always open to any opportunity that's going to maximize value for shareholders. And so when Riot first came to us a couple of months ago, we started a strategic alternatives review process. We set up a special committee at the board, and we looked at all sorts of different opportunities. We ended that strategic alternatives review process a few weeks ago when we basically came to a handshake agreement here with Stronghold in order to facilitate this agreement. Because at that point, the compelling economics of this transaction and the pro forma merged company are so compelling that that's what we decided to move forward with. And the board unanimously decided that was the best way to maximize value for all shareholders. We believe that this deal is really transformative for the company and for all of our shareholders, not only for what this enables for our immediate growth and the combined aspects of this company, but what this unlocks for our growth potential next year and the years to come. This is a pivotal transaction where we've really committed to diversifying beyond Bitcoin mining itself, not in a way that's going to distract from Bitcoin mining, but in a way that's going to make us better Bitcoin miners. And so, in addition to expanding our US portfolio, with this one transaction, we've also been able to diversify into energy generation, get huge access to energy trading in the United States' largest electricity market, PJM. been able to integrate heat recycling, waste mitigation, as well as HPC and AI into our portfolio. So this has been a very transformative transaction, which is going to be great for all shareholders.
Crazy. All right, moving on to the last thing of the day. We're going to get into this video. Guess who's really causing the crypto crash today? I don't think we're really going to get an answer, but we could try to find out over here on Altcoin Daily. Links are in the description if you guys are interested. Let's do it.
Check out Bitcoin prices this morning. They're falling sharply, dipping below the 59,000 level in overnight trading. The sell-off was said to be sparked by a wave of leverage-driven liquidation.
The Bitcoin price is in heavy consolidation, coming off of this dip as much as 30% in the last few weeks. Of course, if you subscribe to Altcoin Daily, you know the reasons this sell-off is happening.
If you think about, whether it was the German government, the Silk Road, Mt. Gox, the unwinding of the Japanese carry trade, really billions of dollars of Bitcoin flow was absorbed. And what you saw was that Bitcoin is still up 38% year to date. And so I think it's really bullish for the space. It really goes to show, as you mentioned, that there is that dry powder. They're sitting on the sidelines that's ready to look at Bitcoin as a store of value.
So we've really just been through some of the biggest sell-offs since the FTX collapse, including a major government selling off 100% of their Bitcoin, Mt. Gox redistributions, which has been looming over us for years, Japan's yen carry trade, which sucked liquidation out of all markets. All selling was absorbed, Bitcoin still up 38% year to date. But we are not out of the woods yet, whether it's the SEC.
I think they mean dry powder as in money on the sidelines.
Now calling all NFTs securities.
NFT marketplace OpenSea says it received a Wells notice from the SEC. The company's CEO, Devin Finzer, took to X, saying the agency is threatening to sue and claims that NFTs on OpenSea's platform are securities. A Wells notice is a warning from the SEC that often precedes a lawsuit.
Whether it's Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson seemingly missing days before the Chang hard fork.
The Chang hard fork upgrade was initially supposed to take place this week.
Wait, what? Hold on. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson has gone missing? What? Is that true? That's not true.
Days
Is that true? What? Did anybody find him?
Or the Chang hard fork.
The Chang hard fork upgrade was initially supposed to take place this week, but has been pushed back to September 1st so that some exchanges, including Binance, could prepare. That's according to a post on X from Cardano co-founder Charles Hoskinson.
But the biggest thing, the 10th largest cryptocurrency by market cap in the world, Telegram's Toncoin, has officially been paused.
There's another story here in the crypto world that I'm watching,
RIP.
Tim, and that is Toncoin, a token that is linked to the messaging app Telegram and the 10th largest crypto asset. It lost more than $2.7 billion in value by Monday morning after Telegram CEO was detained in France over alleged child protection failures in the app.
So here was the official announcement from Ton. The Ton blockchain is currently experiencing a disruption in block production. This issue is occurring due to the abnormal load currently on Ton. Several validators are unable to clean the database of old transactions, which has led to losing consensus. Stay tuned for more updates here. Rest assured, your transactions will be made. No cryptocurrency assets will be lost due to the issue.
So it's linked to Telegram, but it's not necessarily that the two are intertwined. One company runs the other. But Ton is the native cryptocurrency of the Telegram app. So users wanting to send payments over the network, they can do so in Ton or in other cryptocurrencies. And there's a whole wealth of other apps that are now building on top of that network using Ton. Things like video games being played inside the app. Those have gotten more and more popular this year. And so any kind of hit to Ton is definitely a hit to the industry.
So Toncoin was paused due to an overload on the network. We've seen Solana paused or temporarily shut down a handful of times over the last few years. Of course, this one coming mere days just...
Every time I hear about Solana being shut down, I think of that meme that somebody showed, like an old Nintendo game, and you pull it out of the console, you blow in it and stick it back in. I think it's not working again.
After the CEO of Telegram was detained in France for not censoring the platform. To me, this is very reminiscent of what happened with Tornado Cash. Should the developers or people that made the protocol be responsible for the criminals that use it?
Oh, okay. I get what he's saying. platform's totally different, but okay.
I think it goes similarly hand in hand with what happened with Tornado Cat. It's still not yet clear if the founder actually knew of all of the things that he's being accused of by the French regulators today happening on the messaging app, or if they're just accusing him of building and facilitating these conversations that were happening on the platform.
Now, it appears that the Ton blockchain is still down. They're saying this is due to the heavy load attributed to dogs token minting.
There it is, that stupid freaking meme coin that was like up crazy amounts yesterday, and I just showed it down a lot today.
So just use, congestion of the network, and even if the worst should happen to the founder of Telegram, and let's say he does get put in jail for 20 years for crimes that other people committed on his platform, other crypto channels that are telling you this is the end of Toncoin are just plain wrong.
There are very clear actions that Telegram can take in order to continue to remain active in the market. Obviously,
So question, I don't really know how Telegram works. I've used it to talk in like a group with like, I don't know, 10, 15 people or something, but like only for like just business stuff. But is it kind of like Twitter? Can people just like post shit and you can find it? Like, how, I don't even know how it works. I thought it was just a messaging app between like whoever was invited to that thing, right? Kind of like Zoom, but texts. I don't know. Let me know.
Institutional investors.
Oh, it's like Discord? They have, really? Huh. Interesting.
Will not want to use it if, for example, Telegram makes the decision not to go ahead and move forward with the actions the French regulators want them to. But I really don't see that getting to that case, just given how important it is to the ecosystem today. Really, this is about sharing information, and it has been shared in previous cases. For example, the FTX case, in which they did get access to a number of Telegram conversations. So this has been done before in the past. It's going to be really interesting to see, again, what role the CEO played. But it's not to say, and I don't think that this is, the end-all, be-all of Telegram.
And it's very interesting that the day that OpenSea receives a Wells notice from the SEC, one step before a lawsuit saying that NFTs are securities.
Now they're trying to, do this. Do you think the SEC is going to take another L on this one, or do you think the NFTs are really going to get hit? I mean, I feel like something's got to go down. I feel like they got to get a win somewhere, and this one could be it. That's just my opinion. I don't really care for NFTs, and I understand the use case, like being for, say, like if they ever went to car titles and things like that. But pictures, yeah, I don't know.
And you have an unregistered securities exchange. One day before this, Donald Trump again released another set of Trump trading card NFTs.
Oh shit.
This time.
Oh shit. Yeah, tell me that has nothing to do with it. Get the f out of here, dude. Tell me this has nothing to do with the SEC now putting the enforcement action on OpenSeas. Get out of here.
Bitcoin ordinals.
That
is
is
your favorite
such horseshit.
president, Donald J. Trump, with some very exciting news. By popular demand, I'm doing a new series.
Yeah, everything makes sense now. Everything makes sense now. I didn't understand why they never went after NFTs before, but I get it now. Just because it's Trump.
Of Trump digital trading cards. You all know what they are. We've had a lot of fun with them. It's called the America First Collection. 50 all-new stunning digital trading cards. It's really something. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some Bitcoin.
So Gary Gensler
show me taking a bullet.
is the head of the SEC. Donald Trump has made it clear, if elected, he'll fire Gary Gensler day one. But for now, Gary Gensler and the SEC are going full throttle against NFTs and the main NFT platform. Actually, OpenSea joins the ranks of Coinbase, Uniswap, Robinhood, Kraken, Consensus, all being sued by the SEC as well.
This follows a string of Wells notices received by Web3 companies this year, including Consensus and Uniswap in April and Robinhood Crypto in May. Consensus was then sued by the regulator in late June. Of course, unlike OpenSea, these aren't platforms that focus on NFTs, but the SEC has targeted specific projects in the past, including Mila Kunis-backed Stoner Cats.
Gensler and the SEC are handing out Wells notices like they're Halloween candy. Congrats and welcome to the club, says CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong. I'm long Wells notice companies, and why something like this, saying all NFTs are securities, is outrageous.
That's great.
Is because we should not regulate digital art in the same way we regulate collateralized debt obligations. If you're playing a video game and you get a skin in the game and that's also an NFT, that's an unregistered security. If NFTs are securities, then so are my Pokemon cards. Honestly, companies like Coinbase and Uniswap and OpenSea will win against the SEC, at least a settlement, because if nothing else, these private crypto companies have so much more money than a government regulator / entity. This could cause a lot of short-term FUD and maybe last year's in court, or if Gary Gensler gets booted either before the election.
That's the worst head placement I've ever seen in my life.
Or after. And if nothing else, after these next couple weeks, the Fed is about to pivot, which is bullish.
Yeah, I think that if cheap capital floods into the market, people will go and they will push out on the risk curve. The nice thing about Wall Street is that Bitcoin is still considered one of the riskier assets in their portfolio. And so I think assets will flow there. But also, I think that if you look at the crypto industry, they look at this as an asset that they buy and they hold. They do not sell this asset. And so it'll remain illiquid. You'll have Wall Street kind of allocating to it. And as we've seen, when interest rates have gone down or cheap capital has flooded into the market in the past, Bitcoin has done very, very well.
Crazy. All right, well, shout out to Altcoin Daily. That was actually a pretty decent video, not gonna lie. All right, let's get back into the recap segment of things. If anybody's just joining, Bitcoin, $60,540. Looks like we gained a little bit there. We got Ethereum at 25.75, still floating pretty sideways, but up a little bit, 2% as of right now. We got Solana, $145, XRP at 57 cents, Litecoin 62.88, ADA at 36 cents. Again, I want to know what's up with that Charles Hodgkinson guy disappearing. I didn't hear that until right now, and that's kind of funny. Think about it, actually. All right, we got ETC over here at 18.82 cents. We got LTC at 62.88. I already said that, I think. Caspa 16.69, just under 17 cents. Let's see, Dogecoin 10.1 still, so 10 cents. HNT's been doing pretty good today. $7.37, actually up 5.6% today. What is this one? FLZ, $2.95, 15% up today. What is FLZ? Fellas, fellas, I don't even know. What is this? What is this coin? What is this coin? I have no idea what this is. Is it over here? Should be a top 100 coin. What the hell is this one? FLZ. I've never heard of this. Anybody heard of this? Oh, okay. Well, there's no data for a year. There is for a month. And 6 months. Weird. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Interesting. All right, so let's see. Again, this dog's coin is down 7.7%. If anybody cares, it is I don't even know how to say this. Tenths of a penny, right? Is that tenths? This is tenths, right? The 1/10 of a penny. We got Render down 4.5%, $5.73. Let's see, AR over here, Arweave 22.99, down 5.2% today. We have Flare over here up is up 9.3% to 1 cent, almost just over 1.5. Again, HNT up 5.2, Shiba's up 2.6, Ethereum's up 2.2, BSV is up 2.6% to 44.03. Mutable X 4.9% up today, $1.51. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Rune is up 3.4 to $4.25. That's Thorchain. If anybody's interested in that. Yeah, man. Everything's just kind of floating sideways. Flashbang, Fear and Greed Index looking like a 29 again. Yesterday we were at 30, and this is that's what we need a reset, right? October is usually the time we see things starting to explode, and yeah, that's it. That is it, guys. Good morning, Mr. Randy. We're actually going to raid Miss Randy Hipper in a few. She's going to be going live. You guys are all fantastic. I appreciate you all. So hang on, and I'll send you guys right over to her stream. If you guys can't stick around, just go over there and hit the like button for her. Subscribe. It'd be pretty cool. She actually does some pretty good news stuff. So good to see all you guys. I appreciate you all for hanging out. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For now, I got to get back to daddy duty. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace out and have a good day. Oh, and don't forget,
if she don't hawk to her, we don't talk to her. Perfect.
Eat shit, Gary.